Hey guys, it's Donna. So today I'm going to share with you guys like a 30-second clip from the show Suits. And the reason why I want to share this with you guys is because I think it's really pivotal in learning and teaching lessons. So what I mean by that is I know as I've built my business, there's certainly been times where I've had mentors and coaches, whoever it is at the time that I've hired, who have shared something with me that has felt so icky. You know, it's maybe be in a space where I've had to take more personal responsibility or something like that. And it felt awful. And I just want to be like, no, I don't want to hear that. I wanted to run away. I didn't want any part of it. Like it did not feel good to hear, but it was a pivotal lesson in my journey, right? And then I've been on the other side of that, so as a business coach and consultant, there have been times with my clients where I've done that journey and I know what's coming for them. And so as a result, I have to put something forward which helps them to learn that lesson too. And it feels icky sometimes. Sometimes I have to deliver a hard truth in order for them to have that wake up moment to be able to move forward. And when I do it, it kind of goes, oh, I can feel my whole body tense up because I know the feeling that they're having. I've been on the other side of that feeling of I just want to run away. I don't want to hear this from my mentor right now. But also knowing that it's my job to do so, knowing that it's not my job to protect them from these things, but it's my job to actually pull these things out and say, hey, look at this thing so that you can grow and you can be bigger and better. So I'm going to give you guys this 30-second clip. I'm going to pause myself and then I'm going to come back and kind of break down what this looks like for you guys.
The point is, I can see myself stepping down as managing partner in 10 years. I will have accomplished everything that I wanted and still be young enough to start an entirely new chapter.
Seems like it's only been 10 minutes since I handed the reins to you.
No, it hasn't. And time just moves a lot faster when you're 160.
Yeah, but how good do I look? What's going on with you?
Philip, how did you know I was your successor?
My gut.
See, I was afraid you were going to say that. My gut tells me it's Harvey. My heart says he's not ready.
What's the problem?
He's the problem. If the leader of a firm doesn't care about the people who work for him, there's not going to be much of a firm left to lead.
All right, welcome back. So you'll see there, we've got Jessica Pearson speaking to her previous mentor and basically having the conversation, as I was mentioning before, of I need to teach this person a lesson, how do I go about it? How would you do it? And, it feels icky, but I know I have to do it, yeah? And so I kind of wanted to look at this through a few different viewpoints. So I remember for myself when I was just before I was leaving my job, actually, I'd hired this mentor, and before working with her, I'd always worked with mentors who gave me like an hour and a half of their time, and this mentor only ever gave me, I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes of her time twice a month. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, 30 or 40 minutes? What am I meant to do with that? That's not enough time to learn. How am I going to grow from this? And what if I sign myself up for? And all of this sort of jazz, and all these things going through my head, right? And we got on the phone call and she delivered me a few hard truths about personal responsibility. And I sat back and I was like, oh, didn't like that, and then I realized that what I was doing in that moment is I was going, I need more time with her because, well, I think that I need more time with her because I think that she's the magic key to getting to that next level in business. But she actually wasn't. I was the magic key to the next thing in business. She was my mentor. She would help me with any problems that come up along the way. But I actually had to take that personal responsibility and not think that having an hour of her time meant that I was going to be a better coach or consultant or whatever I'm doing, right? The two didn't go together. It was up to me to take ownership of that. And the irony is the moment that I learned that lesson was the moment that I'd had, at that point in time, my biggest month in business. I'd left my job and I'd had a huge month in business. I think it was like a $30,000 month, right? So that was a huge pivotal moment for me, but I had to learn the lesson, feel the pain, and then actually recognize that it was for my own good. Now, I've been on the other side of that, right? Where I've run a class and I had one of my clients come to me after the class and she said to me, oh, I saw that so-and-so, is making $30,000 a month. I'm not making that yet. And I noticed in myself, and so, validator here, she took personal responsibility. I noticed in myself that I felt jealous when I saw that. And I said to her, good. And she's like, what? And I was like, you don't deserve to have it yet. And she's like, what? What do you mean I don't deserve to have it yet? You shouldn't be saying that to your clients. Don't all of your clients deserve to have that? And I said, yeah. I said, you would if you were willing to face the risky problems in your own business, the problems that we've been speaking about for the last month or so now. But until you're willing to face those things, then you don't deserve to get to that next level in business. And she was like, oh. And she didn't like that. You know, she kind of took a step back and I could feel it. I knew what was happening. And in my mind, I'm going, I know that was risky to say, Donna. And then she actually came back to me and she's like, okay, yeah, I think I get it. You know, these are the steps that we've spoken about that I know I need to do, but I haven't been doing them. And until I do them, then my business doesn't get to expand. So you're right. I probably don't, until I do those things, deserve to have that level of month. Now, the interesting thing is the moment that we had this conversation, she actually came to her own decision around this and started making the moves for this, is the moment that she had her biggest months in business. She started signing clients on a whole new level, you know, the highest contracts she'd ever signed, you know, all this sort of jazz, right? So it felt uncomfortable for me, it felt uncomfortable for her, but it had to happen in order for her to learn that lesson and explode. And guys, this is the thing, is like, typically after you felt that really uncomfortable thing, if you have leaned into it, then you'll find on the other side of that will be something really, really cool. But if you decide to run away from that, then what you'll find is that you don't get to have the aha moment, the growth moment. And this is what I always say to my clients, is like, you really need to lean in. You know, you're going to have that fight or flight response. Fight. Stick with me here and fight it out, because if you lean into this, on the other side of that, there is so much more waiting for you. If you run away, you're running away from the inevitable thing that you are going to have to face again. It's not going anywhere, it's still sitting there, you know, and life has this funny way of bringing it back to your attention so that you have to face it anyway. So why not now? You know, why not do it now rather than having to go around the loop and then face the same thing later? All right, guys, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another couple of minutes worth of video. It's like 1 or 2 minutes. And the reason why I want to show this to you is because I want to show you Jessica actually putting this advice into action that she's gotten from her mentor. And I want you guys to look out for Harvey's response. And the reason for that is because we typically either have a fight or flight response. Either we will hear the advice that we've been given from our mentor or from the person who is leading us, and we'll take that thing on board and we'll go, okay, well, I didn't like hearing that, but maybe there's some truth to it, or I trust that they have my best interests at heart, so I'm going to go with this thing. Or they'll have the opposite. They'll have the flight response, which is, why are you doing this? You know, why are you trying to teach me this thing? I don't understand it, you know. And that's sort of, I call it kind of like a flappy bird. This is something that my mentor actually explained to me. So when you think about a bird that has clipped its wing, right? If you go up to that bird and you try and pick it up because you want to nurture it and you want to help it, that bird doesn't understand what you're trying to do. So it sits there and it flaps its wing like crazy, right? And so as it's sitting there and it's flapping its wing like crazy, what it's doing is it's going, oh, I'm scared. Are you going to hurt me? I don't know that your intentions are good. So I'm just going to flap my wing and try and get away from you because I don't trust that you've got my best interests at heart. And this is typically what can happen as a leader when we're trying to teach that lesson, or as the person who is getting the lesson. And so it's really, really important to know, guys, because if you can understand this about yourself in the moments where you're flappy birding, then you can kind of catch that and go, well, am I actually under attack here, or is this person trying to help me? So I'm going to give you guys another couple of minutes to watch this.
I'll give you your promotion. But you have to do something for me.
Anything.
Pro bono.
Anything but that.
Harvey, pro bono cases are how we as a firm show that we care about more than just ourselves.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do them. I'm saying I shouldn't do them.
And it's how you can show me that you care about more than just yourself. Harvey, how's the pro bono going?
Great. I just talked a witness into testifying.
Really? What's the witness's name? I'm not an idiot. Don't treat me like one. You pawned off the case.
Jessica, I've got higher profile cases.
Need I remind you that when we first met, you were a screw-up. I gave you a shot at the mailroom, led you up the ranks, and then paid for you to go to Harvard, where, by the way, you jerked off the entire time you were there. And I still hired you.
And you've benefited from that ever since. Look, I closed the Dockery case, okay?
You made a promise to me. You broke it, and then you lied to my face. So let me be clear. This isn't professional. This is personal. And I'll tell you something else. You made your bed. You better goddamn win.
Okay guys, and I just wanted to show you that last part just so you could see the fight or flight in action. So I'm going to park it there. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, please pop them in the comments box below. And if you'd like to learn more about this, feel free to reach out to me to have a chat and, see how we can work through this with you. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye for now.